I am on a personal quest to see how long it takes me to complete 2 hats. I am knitting my hat duo that's pattern is coming out in the next week on Ravelry and Etsy, and I wanted to time myself to see how long it takes to knit both hats. If you don't know me, my name is Marielle from Handmade by Mariquita, and today I am knitting the Tureen hat duo. Hi guys, I am on a personal quest to see how long it takes me to knit one of my personal hat designs. As you guys know, currently in testing and set for release next week is the Tureen hat duo set. This is a set of 2 hats with 2 different constructions using 2 different color work elements from the Tureen pullover that is also currently in testing. I have just picked up yarn from my local yarn store to make the second sample for my Tureen hat duo, and I wanted to share that with you before I start knitting and timing how long it takes me to knit this pattern. So I picked up Barocco Vintage Chunky. This is made in 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. So it is an incredibly soft yarn. The colorways that I've picked up are Douglas Fir and Mushroom for the Tureen Ridge hat, main color, contrasting color, and Forest Floor combined with Mushroom again for the Tureen plain hat. I am about to wind these hanks up into cakes and start knitting, so we'll see how long it takes me. Hey guys, it is the next day. It is about 11:30 a.m. and I had to take the day off of work. I don't know if you can hear the congestion in my voice, but there has been like a really bad virus going around at school. I'm an elementary school teacher and I seem to have come down with whatever it is the kids have, so I'm feeling quite poorly. Anyways, a little update on the progress of my Tureen Ridge hat. I have gotten to the part where I finished the brim, as you can see, and I have finished the stripes to set up for the color work. So I'm about to do the color work section, which should not take very long, but I only have an hour and 45 minutes of knitting completed so far. And I've like basically knit half of the hat. So all that's left to do is the color work and then the crown of the hat, and I'll be done to ready to cast off. So this is such a quick project. I thought it would take like 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get to this point because ribbing takes so long, but because the gauge is so wide and big, the gauge for this hat is 15 stitches by 18 rows, or rounds I guess, because it's in the round. Anyways, it's just flying by. Anyways, I'm really happy with it so far. I'm also really loving these 2 colors together. I think it will be really beautiful together. Also, another kind of unrelated update, I got the go-ahead from my tech editor to go ahead and start testing the Nana sock. So I just posted that post on my Instagram, and it's live on not Ravelry, on Yarn Pond for testing. So If by the time this video comes out you would like to apply, I will put the link in my description to apply for testing for the Nana socks. You can also find my designer page on Yarn Pond and follow me or ask to be in my testing pool to test future patterns. I have several garments coming, several vests and blouses, and I'm really excited for that. I also just sent off another pattern to my editor as well for editing, and I just wanted her to check all the grading measurements before I actually applied them into stitches, because last time for grading the terrain pullover, it was such a large learning curve. I obviously had never graded before besides socks, but socks are so easy to grade because the circumference is so small and there's not as many factors to put into play. You're really just taking into account the length, the stitch count, repetition, as well as the circumference for the ball of the foot. And so there's really not that many factors at play, but obviously for a pullover or a garment, it's just so much more complicated. Especially a drop sweater, for the upper sizes, you don't want the drop to be too low, and the lower sizes, you don't want the drop to be too high. And so that in particular, figuring that out was a huge learning curve for me personally. Yeah, that is in testing as well. So just lots of exciting designer things, but yeah, that's my little update. I am gonna get back to knitting and I will come back for my next update. I think I'll be able to finish this hat in an hour or two, no problem. So that's super exciting. I think it's also a really great stash buster hat because for the main color, you only use about 100-ish yards depending on your size that you're making, and then for the contrasting color you only use less than 50 yards. So is that true? Let me look real quick, hold on. Okay, for the main color you use between 110 and 135 yards, and then for the contrasting color, yeah, you use between 15 to 22 yards. So stash buster. And you could also, another idea is you could make the brim a different color if you have not enough to make the entire hat one main color. You could make the brim one color and then the body of the hat main color a different color, and then the contrasting color a different color. If you wanted to make it tricolor as well, that's another option. So I'm just gonna be knitting away. I'm gonna go make some tea in a second because honey has so much healing properties and I need to be healed. I don't feel good. Guys, so I'm about halfway through the color work on this hat, and I kind of wanted to share a little bit of my process of how I do color work. I am also a crocheter, so it's pretty easy for me to do both stranded and continental. So if it's 2 strands, I'll just hold them both. And then sometimes if there's a really dominant color in the 3 strand, I'll hold the dominant color in my left hand and then I'll alternate with picking. But my way of doing stranded color work, or my way, I guess, of doing English style knitting is a little bit different anyways. It's more so of a fluid motion. So here I'm doing continental, and then here, I don't know, it feels like a very similar movement to me in both hands. So I don't know what that is called, to be honest. That's just kind of how I learned or have figured out how to knit, I guess, over the years, and how it's become automatized. So yeah, I'm just knitting this color work, and also this really helps, I think, with floats, because this specific color work design is designed so that you won't need to catch floats, because there's not enough space in between colors where you need to catch them. And so that's really nice with floats because they kind of just get taken care of. You don't really have to worry about it, whether you're picking up and dropping or you're knitting how I'm knitting with both hands. Anyways, that is just kind of my process of knitting color work and knitting in general. I don't knit if it's a one color garment, I don't knit continental style just because I don't find it as quick for me as stranded color, or why do I keep saying that? I don't find it as quick or natural for me personally as I do English style knitting. I guess because my method of doing English style knitting is a little bit different and the movement I'm doing is a little bit different. I'm just able to do it really quickly. But I also want to destigmatize, and I think in knitting right now, I feel there's a big trend where everyone's oh, I'm switching to continental knitting and I'm learning how to continental knit and stuff. And I just want to say, whatever way you knit is completely fine. Don't let anybody change that or like tell you differently. Because like if you knit English style, it doesn't mean you're like a bad knitter or like you're uncultured or you don't know how to knit advanced techniques, you know? And if you knit continental style, it doesn't always mean that you're knitting faster. And also, knitting speed is not the goal. I am tracking how long it takes me to knit this hat purely for curiosity, as well as like I think this could be a really good hat for like a gift knit or a knit for Christmas or a knit for someone's birthday or something like that. And so I kind of wanted to see how long it would take with such a big gauge to knit up this project, as well as like looking at it from stash busting properties and just things like that in terms of accessibility, not in terms of, oh, how much can I grind out in one day or whatever. I do tend to knit several hours a day, but that's because I want to. And if I notice that I'm getting stressed or I'm like dysregulating myself by knitting so quickly or anything like that, I will just put my knitting down and chill for the rest of the evening, or I'll switch to something different. And I think that's really important in crafting, to like listen to your body, because the way I knit in so many ways is for regulation and enjoyment as well. And now it's my job as well, part-time at least. But I think it's important to just like really tune into your body and listen to what your body is telling you. Like if your wrists are starting to hurt, don't continue knitting. Who is telling you you have to continue knitting? You know, or if you don't feel well and you don't feel like knitting, why are you knitting, girly? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that is something that I see buzzing around a lot these days, and something I just kind of wanted to address. So, yeah, update. I am at 1 hour and 57 minutes, and I am on the last row of the colorwork before I do the striping on the other end. So it's really only taken me like 20 minutes to do the colorwork section. So that's my update for now, and I will, I think, update you next once I've finished the hat or started the crown.
And of course I overthought it and wanted to do something. So I play, as once I started knitting with this, it's like, it's just chocolate. It just reminds me of chocolate, and I was like, oh.
Alright guys, it's a little bit later and I have finished my hat. I am honestly incredibly shocked. I'm incredibly shocked at how quickly I was able to finish this hat. I truly think it is because, one, I'm sick, so I have nothing else to do. And two, this gauge is just so big that it just knit up so quickly. I even think this sample knit up more quickly than the sample I used with the Drops Nepal, because this gauge is like a little bit bigger. But I have just measured how much leftover yarn I have. I have 26 grams left of the main color. So I think that's pretty good. I need to figure out a project, like a scrappy project that I can use all my leftovers with. I am planning on making the Ovis sweater at some point by Saskia & Co., who used to be the Petite Knitter. And I am like assembling some scraps of worsted weight yarn to use for different colorwork sections for that. Or maybe I'll design something that's colorwork and uses just a little bit of each color in like a circular yoke or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? But I have the final count for you here. I'm literally so shook at this number. I thought it would be at least 5 hours to finish one of these hats, and it turns out I feel like I could knit the entire hat duo, 2 separate hats, in 5 hours. But we'll see. That is pretty crazy. Those numbers are insane. And yeah. So drum roll, please. The final result. I love these colors together. I think it came out so cute. I'm a big hiker and backpacker, and I just could picture backpacking while wearing this little hat in the woods and in nature. waking up in the cool morning. This is what the Tureen Rich hat, this sample looks like on. Like, always have to adjust my bangs. I think it's so cute. I really like, for my other hat that I made, I like knit extra. That looks crazy. I knit extra right here so that I could triple fold it. But because this fabric is a little bit denser than my other sample, I wanted to just do a double folded. And I think this is so cute as well. It has a little bit of a different look, but just imagine me hiking in the woods with my little hiking poles, wearing my hand knit hat that I designed myself. So cute. Anyways, I think it turned out so cute, and yeah, I'm excited to see what the Tureen plain hat looks like as well. I'm going to attempt to time the Tureen plain hat, working on it and knitting it as well. I guess the next thing to do is to block it and take some more sample photos with the new sample as well. And then the pattern is ready to be posted to Ravelry. So hopefully in a week's time or so, it will be posted, which is crazy. It's so exciting releasing a new pattern. Every time it's like giddy and exciting. So anyways, okay, I will catch you guys later while I'm working on the Tureen plain hat. Alright, hey guys, it is a little bit later in the day and I wanted to share my progress on the Tureen plain hat. So this is the second hat in the hat duo. It is a top-down construction. You start by casting on stitches with provisional cast on, which is use a crochet hook, and then you increase for the crown of the hat, and then I have just now finished the crown of the hat. So my time count is 42 minutes and 6 seconds. Yeah, this is what we're looking like. It's so cute. It looks like a little mushroom cap or something. So cutie. And I'm really liking this colorway as well. Yeah, so that's my update, my time check, and I'm gonna knit on the body, and I imagine that this will go very quickly from here on out because it's just knitting in the round in stockinette on the body of the hat for a few centimeters, and then you do the color work and immediately cast off. So we really don't have much to go, which is crazy that I have knit 2 entire hats in such a short amount of time. But yeah, I'm just very surprised by this whole timing process as well, because like while I'm actually knitting, it feels a lot longer than it is, I guess, and actually timing it has made me realize like, oh, I'm getting a lot done in a short amount of time, which is crazy. I'll see you guys later for an update. Alright guys, update. So I just finished the body of the hat and I'm about to join in the contrasting color to start the color work, and at this point we're basically done because the color work is just 14 rows and then after that you cast off. And so my timer currently says 1 hour, 3 minutes, 34 seconds. So I'm like blowing through this hat. Like I said, this particular like construction of the hat just goes by really, really quickly. And so I'm just glad because I'm kind of ready to move on to something else. I'm about to complete the color work and I'll give you an update when the hat is completed. All right, hey guys, I have literally just now cast off the Tureen plain hat. And by the way, in my counts for when I'm running the timer, I am also running the timer while I'm weaving in the ends. I stopped the timer at 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 40 seconds. So I am actually stunned that to knit an entire hat, it took under 2 hours. That feels actually insane to me. I'm not sure how that's possible, but I guess again, big gauge, say it with me, big gauge. Anyways, so I literally just casted it off. Again, it's not blocked, and one thing about the non-rolling edge technique is that it won't actually prevent the edge from rolling until after blocking. So before blocking, it is still quite roly-poly vibes. But here is my finished hat. I'm actually so obsessed with it. I think before I knit the second sample, which this is the second sample, the Terrene Ridge hat was my favorite of the duo. But honestly, after this combo, I'm literally obsessed with the Terrene plain hat. I think it came out actually so cute. It would also be really cute, like if I crochet, so maybe I'll do a little modification at a different date and different point in time. But I think it would also be really cute if you did like a little wavy border on the end to kind of make it like flop out. I'm not sure what those kinds of hats are called, but I'll find it later and put it in the put it on the screen. But I wanted to show you guys what this looks like on. First of all, I'm actually so obsessed with these colors and the combination of these colors. I think they came out to be so incredibly cutie. And again, like, picture me walking in the woods with my little hiking boots and my hiking pants, wearing this. So heckin' cute. This is gonna be a pain to try on because it's currently so warm in my apartment, and also I'm pretty sure I have a fever, so I'm like sweating. I've been sitting here knitting and drinking tea, which I probably shouldn't be drinking because I'm so warm. And it's fine though, we're fine, it's fine. Okay, the grand reveal. She came out literally so cute. My bangs always look crazy when I wear hats. I think she came out perfect. The original sample that I made, which I have right here, I made a little bit longer, and I didn't like that. I've learned about myself through this process, through knitting the first sample and the second sample, that I really prefer hats shorter so that they can sit quite close to my head at the top. I just really prefer that look on myself. And so when I was knitting this one, I knit it several centimeters shorter in the body, like the section after the crown and before the color work. I think I like it a lot better for that reason. Whereas this one, here, I'll show you. This one is quite flimsy at the top, which is not my preference. I could go in and steek the project so that I can remove a few rows and then graft them together with Kitchener stitch, but I just really don't want to do all that. It's not that bothersome for me, and it's good exposure therapy, so it's fine. I'm honestly just being lazy about it, to be honest. But yeah, I definitely love this sample so much, and I do really like the extra structure. Drops Nepal is quite thick, and so it does come out to be like a heavy worsted weight, but I just really like the structure and the definition that this gives. One thing I did learn about this project is, you know, I used to use Drops Nepal a lot, but I think I'm going to start taking a step back from Drops Nepal just because the stitch definition, like, look at in comparison, like this just looks so fuzzy. I mean, Drops is a very cheap brand, which is really wonderful because it's so affordable, and a lot of their yarns are wonderful for specific purposes, but I think for color work, something that needs to be like defined, I think if it was like a fuzzy kind of color work where it's a little more rustic vibes, I think Nepal would have been better, but this is obviously, it needs to be very crisp for this color work, and so I really prefer it in this Malabrigo. Anyways, I got this from my local yarn store, Chattanooga Yarn Co. Shout out to them. They were so sweet actually because they gave me the workers like employee discount, which is 20% off. So that was like so incredibly kind of them. I've partnered with them a little bit for some of my designs. I'm teaching a class in the next couple months there on one of my sock designs. And I'm also currently in the process of making them a store sample for the Sendero socks. So that was just really sweet. The yarn store owner is just an incredible woman. She is a powerhouse. And anyways, that's enough about that. But yeah, I am gonna do one last try on in the morning, quite frankly, because I'm tired of looking at these hats for the moment. And I will give y'all the final rundown. So see you in the morning. Okay, friends, I am here for the final update. Drum roll, please. To make the Terrine Ridge hat, it took me a total of 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 52 seconds. And drum roll, please. To make the Terrine plain hat, which I still have not blocked, it took me 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 40 seconds for a grand total of 4 hours, 36 minutes, and 32 seconds to make this entire hat duo. I also wanted to show you my finished amounts of yarn. So this was my contrasting color for both of the hats. This was my main color for the Terrine Ridge hat, and the bottom was my main color for the Terrine plain hat. So as you can see, there's a lot of yarn left over. These hats don't use a lot of yarn at all. And they're incredible for stash busting purposes. And also, as you can see, because they're so quick to make, they're incredible for gift knit purposes or knitting for yourself, or if you're traveling on the weekend and you want something fun to make that's easy and transportable but isn't super involved, knit the Terrine hat duo. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I had so much fun and I learned so much about my knitting speed, my knitting style, my knitting process through this journey. And it was just truly so interesting to see the total that both of these hats together come out in under 5 hours, which is insane. I feel like a lot of stash busting hats take, like one hat takes 5 hours to make, and for both of these hats, both of them combined, takes 5 hours to make. So that's actually incredible. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will catch me later for some other videos. By the way, if you like my channel, if you like my videos and you have not already subscribed, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We hear creators say that all the time, but those things really help channels out. So I would encourage you to do that. Help a girl out. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.